Hi, first graders. Happy Thursday. Thumper is here with me today because it's Thumper Thursday, of course. So he's going to thump hello.
Hi, I'm Thumper. But you can't guess why.
We have no idea, Thumper. No idea why your name is Thumper. Okay, he's going to stay here while I read the story. Okay, and let's see if we can kind of so you can see his face a little better. And the book that we're going to read today is one of Bridget's favorites from when she was little. It's called Our Tree Named Steve, and it's written by Alan Zweibel and David Catrow. And you can see that really thick trunk of the tree right there on the cover, and 3 children underneath and a dog. So you have a clue who the characters might be in this story. And it starts, I'll show you the picture. It starts with a little letter, so I'm going to show you, you can see that part of the picture. Dear kids, a long time ago, when you were little, Mom and I took you to where we wanted to build a house for us to live in. But in order to build there, men had to come and clear the land. That means they would have to chop down some trees. See that big tree right there? I'll show you the picture, and then I'm going to read. I remember there was one tree, however, that the 3 of you couldn't stop staring at. Adam thought it was crying. Lindsay said it looked nervous, and Sari, who was only 2 years old, couldn't pronounce the word tree and called it Steve. I love you, Steve, she kept saying, and then Adam and Lindsay started saying it, and before too long, Mom and I got the hint and asked the builder to please save Steve. So when they went to build a house, they were going to keep Steve. The day we moved in, Steve was there to greet us. I gotta move you over a little bit because you kind of blocked the pictures. Maybe he can sit down here with me. There you go. Yeah. See? There's Steve. He quickly worked his way into our lives as a swing holder, target, third base, hiding place, jump rope turner. See, they had a swing. They used it to hold their jump rope. They played baseball and touched it as third base. And whenever our dryer broke down, he held our underwear with pride. That's so silly. See their underwear hanging out? They had to use him to hang up their clothes to dry when the dryer was broken. And look at their doggy. Oops. He might be wearing some underwear too on his head. That's just silly. Yes, right there in the center of our yard, this weird-looking tree grew to become the center of our outdoor life. Through all our barbecues, campouts, dance parties, and you can see there's Steve, and they strung some lights. They have a tent underneath. Or when Adam and Lindsay started getting crushes on the Simon kids next door, Steve adjusted to our every need. See? And it wasn't always easy standing tall through snowstorms in the winter. There's Steve in the winter. He's almost covered in snow. Or when Uncle Chester napped in the hammock, couldn't possibly have been fun. See, big Uncle Chester, that probably hurt his branches a little bit. Not to mention the time that the sewer overflowed and Steve sucked up all the smelly water before it drowned Kirby. See, Kirby, their dog is stuck on top of the doghouse, and the yucky water's in their yard. But Steve's roots sucked up all of the yucky water. Then he got so sick himself that the tree doctor had to give Steve a haircut that made him look like a big thumb. So they had to cut off some of his branches because he got sick from that yucky water. Through the years, Mom and I have tried to show you in a world filled with strangers the peace that comes with having things you can count on and a safe place to return to after a hard day or a long trip. Which brings me to the point of this letter. Last week, a storm hit our area, and this part of the story is a little bit sad, but it has a happy ending. And though we spared Steve's life long ago, this time we couldn't save him. See, the storm knocked down Steve. Giant tree, and look how sad they are. You can see their little faces. The window and the doggy. Are we sad? Sure we are. But even in his final moments, when he could have fallen on our house, Sari's swings, Kirby's house, or Mom's garden, Steve performed his last trick and protected all of us to the very end. And friends like this are hard to find. I'll go back to the page to show you how he fell in a way that didn't hurt anything. It didn't fall on the house. It didn't fall on the tree house. It didn't ruin the swings. So, when you come home from Grandma's next week, Steve will not be able to greet you as he's done in the past. I'm sorry. And look at their doggies laying on his stump. He's sad. But please know that Steve will all in our hearts, in our thoughts, and there's still a way that Steve's going to be with them. And in a different tree at the other end of our yard. Because see, in this tree over here, ooh, it's hard to point on the screen. See the tree here? They built a tree house. And where do you think they got the wood for that tree house? They got it from Steve. So it's like Steve is still there with them in a different way. See you next week. Love, Dad. And that is the end of the book. And you can see the picture. And in this picture, it's hard to see it on the screen, but he has like a smile. He has like two eyes and he's smiling. Steve kind of has like a little bit of a face when they took a picture of him. So that was our tree named Steve. And Thumper, you ready to say goodbye? Thumper says goodbye. See you soon.